Yo, what's going on? Quick video, and it's called America Ain't Shit. Why? Because America ain't shit. You know what America's for? America is for creating business, making money, and then getting the fuck on. I was just in Cobb County, Georgia yesterday, and I went to, it's a wing spot that I go to. Every time I go down to Cobb County and deal with business, my wife is like, yo, because I grew up, I'm not going to say I grew up in Cobb County, but in my adult life, of me not living at home with my mother, I've always stayed in Cobb County, and I had some business I had to take care of in Cobb County yesterday. And I went to the wing shack to go get my wife some wings. And right next to the wing shack is a liquor store. I was cool with the owner of the liquor store. He's an Asian dude named Tony. I had bust down a fake check maybe about 12, 15 years ago by mistake. I didn't know it was fake. And he worked it out with me. He could have called the police on me, but he didn't. Big shout out to him. But he's not there no more. And I asked the owner of the Wing Shack, who's another Asian dude, hint, hint. I said, yo, where's Tony at? He said, yo, he sold the spot in July and he went back to China with his money. People know America's ain't shit. You know what you need to do in America? You need to make a lot of money and go somewhere else and live your life. America is a slave country built off the back of slaves. Slavery is non-existent anymore, except in in penitentiaries in jail. But they found ways to make you a slave by making laws to make certain things legal that are that are legally slavery without calling it slavery. Jobs, taxes, IRS, this, that, and the third. This country is really not shit. And then, you put all the black people in one place called the project because it's a project. Make sure that they have no resources where they can live or what they can live off of. So they're always going to be substandard. It's only going to be about maybe 5 to 8% of black people that are successful, wealthy, and really making a difference in the world. And everybody else is fucked up. You got a media. When Trump says shit like fake news, I understand when he's talking about fake news. You know what fake news is? When anytime there's a black TV show on television, there's no father in the household, the mother's single, it's a son that's going through some shit and he has to make the right or wrong choice, whether not to join the gang or to join the gang or this, that, and the third. And if it's a female, the same thing. The mother's single, she has a daughter. The daughter meets some white boy and he's the fucking savior. It's a mind fuck. And if you perpetrate this fraud with the media for so many years, this been happening before fucking Donald Trump been talking that fake news shit. Mexicans think a certain way about you. Other Hispanics think a certain way about you. White people think a certain way about you. They think that all fucking black people are daggone saggy pants wearing rappers because that's what they see on TV. And then it comes to mind fuck where black people think that white people are superior to black people because anytime you see on television, it's always a what? White person in a position of power. This has been perpetuated over decades of, and it's trained you to think this way. And you take that same mental state with you when you go to school, when you go to work, when you go to church, when you go to the store, when you go to Walmart, where black people are more aggravated at seeing black people in the street or in social settings than when they see white people. They are more submissive and lose aggression. We've been mind fucked. This country is not shit. And then they fuck it. You know what this country does? It separates everybody. It separates everybody to the single most least component. You go from black, then from black you go from Democrat, Republican, then they go separate you with gender. You either straight, gay, trans, this, that, and the third. They go to separate you with everything. They separate you with class. Either you're rich or you're poor. They separate you with education. You got a GED, you got a diploma, you got a master's degree, a bachelor's degree, a PhD. You went to an Ivy League school, you went to a regular local school. They separate the shit out of you. And then you're confused. And then you wonder why us as a people can't come together, because the system is not generated for us to come together. It's generated for us to be apart. You got black women, you got black men, you got them people that they telling black women you don't need no black man in the household. You could be mommy and daddy. You telling black men that they could dress up in skirts. Come on. You know this. You know this. You're smarter than this. Right or wrong. America really ain't shit. America is here for you to either be a slave or a slave master. It's ways to get money. When people like Akon, he says black people need to invest in Africa. With what? He didn't even invest in Africa. He got money from China. And the funny thing is, white people so worried about black people. What everybody needs, white people worried about black people, white people defending Trump worried about Mexican people. Everybody need to keep their fucking eye on China, because China's buying up the whole fucking globe. You go to the Dominican Republic. Went to the Dominican Republic last month. They have a Chinese restaurant in the Dominican Republic. I seen a little baby girl. She had to be no older than maybe 1.5 years old, speaking fluent Spanish. You go to Jamaica, they're taking over. You go to Trinidad, they're taking over. You go to the Virgin Islands, they're taking over. But y'all worried about black people. America ain't shit.